My name is Matthew Iavani, and I'm a partner at Full Funnel. We're a go-to-market and revenue operations services company. I was approached recently by a client who was asking about a new piece of sales technology called Revo. And Revo is similar to Common Room. I was talking to this person because he was asking me like, hey, what about this tool? Should I be looking at this as opposed to like Clay or any of these other sort of tool sets? And what was very interesting is we got on this topic of like what's going on in the market. We're at kind of an inflection point in sales and marketing where organizations are pretty much at the end of the current sort of predictable revenue sales and marketing automation platform. A lot of endpoint labor, SDRs, content marketers, paid advertisers, account executives, account managers, so on and so forth. Most companies are over-indexed on endpoint labor. They're under-indexed on central ops personnel and sort of operations staff. Even if organizations have like a sales ops, marketing ops, or revops person or persons, they're always underwater. They never have enough time to be doing both like firefighting as well as what is like building next gen type of sales and marketing processes. But you got to remember like the sales technology map is enormous. Like this is an example of a map Tenenbaum puts out just to kind of give you a sense on how many different parties, and this is definitely not all of them. And there's just a ton of this stuff. And what's interesting is if you look at these tools, which Revo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Common Room, these tools have a very similar type of narrative around like signals, actions, the CRM, sort of Clay, the tools like SalesLoft, like it's all in one place. And these are tools for reps. It's like you're going to give your endpoint labor these sort of pre-made go-to-market machines, and it's going to allow that team that exists to be more effective. It's interesting because we're moving out of this like predictable revenue type of era. We're going to change the way that sales and marketing teams look. There's going to be a lot more operations people, a lot more people with engineering and technocratic talents. The folks who do like really well with general oration, they're still going to be there. There's just going to be a lot less of them. They're going to follow the kind of like 80-20 rule where, 20% of your best sellers generate 80% of the revenue, but instead of them generating 80% of the revenue, they're going to generate 100% of the revenue. And it's going to be more efficient because the middle is going to be controlled by what is usually, especially in middle market or especially enterprise, centrally orchestrated workflows. And what's interesting is if you look at these tools like a Clay or even like an n8n, but Clay certainly is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. This is the type of platform. It's interoperable with over 160 different tools, all your core CRM systems, all your AI agents. Like you can literally build lots of stuff inside of Clay. And if you get folks that really know how to use this tool, and our perspective is the market is still not really there yet, you're essentially going to start seeing organizations be able to build their own tailor-fit, absurdly productive versions of what these companies are essentially providing to the broader market. And so the bet here is that if you believe that sales reps especially are going to continue to own their data sourcing, their comms, their interactions with the market holistically, then these types of products are really interesting. I mean, so interesting that this is really like a competitor like Copper or Pipedrive or Apollo or these folks who are at the lower end of the market trying to consolidate tool sets at a very cheap price point for organizations to get a lot of capability out of their sort of micro stack. Once you get into the middle market and enterprise space, like it's interesting because those companies have so much legacy bloated sort of labor, because my team, as an example, like we would want to know what's inside of the box to use all of these tool sets. We'd rather build our own. And we feel like the market is going to move in a direction where that's really why Clay, we think, is going to be so interesting, is because of this ability to tailor fit the entire sales and marketing system and essentially build anything that you want inside of a sales and marketing operations group. All sales and marketing is a variety of actions that happen sequentially over different medium, technology or human capital. Once you understand the workflow, you then can build it within workflow automations and agents, and the tool that you do that work in now is going to be Clay. What do you think?